So, starting from the beginning.
Be warned, it is my sworn duty to rid the world of chaos and all who facilitate them. Joy.
Okay, so that first Volkmar clip.
Yep. So he's ridden the world of chaos. That's pretty standard. I wouldn't say that in the Warhammer world that's particularly grim. I'd be like, it's not like it's not borderline pleasant. I'd say it's dour.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd put that one as dour.
Interesting analysis.
Okay.
Alright, now we've got Eltharion.
Is what?
Some of them coming through pretty quick, so...
Yeah, so that one was Joy was wanton.
Is what?
Yeah.
That's grim. That's grim as fuck. Yeah, that's top marks there. He's like, fuck being happy. I just want to be miserable. Yeah, that's pretty grim.
Right. I also want to add that this will probably be like the definitive source to figure out who's actually Grimmest. Because, you know, like, how can you have a nickname in the Warhammer world and someone else has your same nickname, right? Like, you'd have to declare war. You'd have to declare war on them, right?
Do I need to remind you about Nakai and Wolfric?
Yeah, once you mentioned that, I was like, man,
which one is the more
writers,
Ultra?
man?
And I gotta say, Arkan and Zatan, which one is more the black?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure there's probably more.
Right. Are there?
I just can't think of them at this point in time.
Right. And it's not like, you know, we kind of make fun of Creative Assembly a bit, but it's not even Creative Assembly's doing. Like, that's Games Workshop's writing.
Yeah, Creative Assembly has nothing to do with this. And that's fine. Yeah, when you've got that many characters, you're gonna have a few overlaps.
Right.
All right, should we go on to the next one?
Sure. Okay.
Is what?
So he just says to war. Is
That's
that right?
right. That's right. Yep.
That's stern. A game called Total War saying to war. I think everyone says that.
Yeah. All right. Eltharion. Avenge the fallen.
Borderline pleasant. I mean, that's what you would want to do.
Yeah. It's kind of a wholesome sentiment.
Especially if you're going up against greenskins. I feel like that's pretty standard. Maybe stern. I'd say it's stern. It's not like something that you would say in a normal conversation.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd go stern with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not particularly grim
Right.
for Warhammer.
All right. Crush them.
What do you think on this one?
Crush them. How grim is it? It's pretty grim. Like, it's a violent statement. But now
Is it grimmer than Joy is wanton?
Joy is wanton.
As in, he doesn't want any happiness.
Yeah. Was that wanton as in Wanton?
I think so.
Wanton? Yeah. Joy is wanton.
Unless he knows someone called Wanton, and he just really likes that guy.
Wanton? It's like a Cathayan character, Wanton.
Yeah. Oh, that's racist. That's okay. Yeah, I'd put it as churlish, personally.
Churlish, yeah. I would have said the same thing. Yeah.
That was Eltharion.
It was, yeah.
What was the statement again? Crush them, yeah.
Crush them. Yeah, it's fighting words, so to speak, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're on the battlefield and you heard him say that, you'd be like, oh, really? Oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yes, I wouldn't say it's grim as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's churlish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say that. Okay. I think I've lost my place.
Oh, so that was Crush Them was actually Volkmar, sorry. So got to take Eltharion away.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm losing track of things.
I might have... My tier list ordering might not be right, but that's Volkmar being churlish. Okay. Next up.
They will toil for Ivres.
They will toil for Ivres.
It's pretty churlish, I'd say. What do you think?
I think that's grim as fuck. Yeah, because doesn't that imply slavery? And slavery is probably the grimmest thing imaginable, right?
We got to talk about it in terms of Warhammer, though.
Slaves are pretty
Who doesn't? Yeah. Honestly, being a slave is not the worst fate someone can actually have in the Warhammer universe. Yeah, like, I'm happy with grim as fuck.
Okay. Next up.
Purge the heretics.
Purge the heretics.
Yeah, that's grim. Yeah, that's grim as fuck.
Because, like...
Yeah, there's no tolerance in that. That's just...
Yeah. Because being a heretic could just be saying, you know... Expressing...
Could be another human.
Expressing personal views. You know?
Yeah, anything that's not part of their religion is heresy, and therefore purged. And then... Yeah. He could be referring to Bretonians there. Perfectly normal Bretonians. Just purge them. So... yeah, no, that's pretty grim.
And, like, the Fey Enchantress is, like, actually, like, they exist. They have holy powers. So it makes sense to deify them. Whereas, like, maybe Sigmar's just a bit of a beat-up, would you say?
No. In this universe, Sigmar definitely did exist, so...
But, like,
It's a pretty big deal.
Jesus definitely existed. It's just, like, the whole, you know... water to wine stuff. It's like, it happened a while ago.
We're entering real world there, and that's where things get really opinionated, and I would not cross that.
Okay.
In the Warhammer world, Sigmar exists.
Yeah, but did he really take on the huge tide of greenskins in that, you know, pass? By like, it just makes it sound like he did it all by himself, and he probably had like pretty decent team.
He did actually kill Nagash. He took Galmaraz and smashed Nagash in the chest.
I could use like a biblical comparison, but you're probably correct. It starts becoming a bit testy there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I remember that time Jesus went and just slammed Pontius Pilate in the face, and then went to Tiberius and just executed him. Yeah, I think we're crossing into real bad territory there.
Man, you actually sound like a bit of a scholar on this stuff. I mean, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. And my brother was a seminarian, so I should know more about the Catholic faith.
Yeah. Let's not get into it.
Okay.
Let's move on. Okay, right. You're gonna get a lot of. So let's just move on.
Really, man.
Oh yeah, you will. Just move on.
Okay. Well, look.
You can't make fun of people's personal beliefs without some pushback. I can do it. That's just me. I can do it. Right. But you'll get a lot of pushback. I'm not going to do it on your video for you. Anyway, let's move on to the next grim state.
Okay.
Fangsword heretics. Fangsword bites deep.
Fangsword bites deep. I think that's just factual.
Yeah.
So that's like, I wouldn't say it's borderline pleasant. I'd say it's stern. He's just saying my sword is bloody good. I wouldn't say that's particularly grim.
Right. But, like, if it cuts deep, does that imply it was wielded with a fair amount of grimness?
Well, swords are not there to cut your meat. So it's like, he kind of needs to. I would say that any sword that doesn't cut deep is kind of crap. So... I'd say it's just a factual statement. He's just saying my sword's the shit.
Okay.
You know, which is a statement that most people make in this game about their weapons. They don't go, my sword, it's alright, you know, it's 1,000-year-old blade forged, but you know, it could be better.
Who has the crappest signature weapon in the game, do you think?
I'd really have to think about that one. I mean, you could argue Karl Franz because he has 2 signature weapons, so he actually gives one of his signature weapon away.
Right. Was a Rune Fang and then Galmaraz.
With the Rune Fang and Galmaraz. So the Galmaraz can only be wielded by... Gotta fight a quest battle, or he can just toss it away. Not toss it away. It's a weapon. It's not a bad weapon, but he doesn't need it.
Yeah. And that doesn't cut deep. That smashes people.
Yeah.
Galmaraz, yeah.
Well, that's what it's called. Galmaraz is Skull Splitter.
In what tongue?
Dwarf... Dawi? Dwarfish? Dwellerfish? I can't remember what it's called.
Dwemer. No, that's... Elder Scrolls.
Kazalid? I think it's Kazalid.
Okay.
That's the language.
Interesting that Chaos Dwarves entirely speak in their language in Total War.
Well, they're very isolated, so... I don't know. I guess so. Sort of like the Lizardmen. Yeah. Lizardmen will throw in a few lines in English.
Right.
Alright, so next statement?
Yeah.
Choose your words carefully. I am not a patient man.
Choose your words carefully. I'm not a patient man.
That's a churl, yeah. He's been a churl right there. Also, we never put in Eltharion.
Oh.
We never put the one for Eltharion. I said Stern, not Borderline, because that was the Fang Sword Bites Deep.
Yep.
So...
Did we have a Borderline Pleasant one? Or, no, the last one was just a bit stern. No, there was a factual statement, right? Something you deemed as a factual statement.
Yeah, Fang Sword Bites Deep.
Yeah, okay. So...
I wouldn't say that's a Borderline.
It implies violence, so it's somewhat grim, but it's not pleasant either.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay.
Next one.
So not a patient man. Pretty churlish.
Alright, we got...
There's your voice coming through. That's just footage taken from a stream. I didn't bother to download the Eltharion DLC for this content.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it because you were talking about... Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Is that grim but unyielding?
Yes.
Is that what he says? Okay. Grim but unyielding. He says grim, but that doesn't make his statement all that grim. I'd say it's pretty dour.
Okay.
What do you think?
Grim but unyielding.
Actually, you know what? I would even go so far as to say it's borderline pleasant. He's saying, I'm grim, but I'm also unyielding. No. It's stern. That's what that is. He's making a... He's saying that he doesn't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could live it at dour, but I'd maybe think about stern. But it's not borderline pleasant.
Yeah. I did actually... So I created this compilation with like what I perceived to be the grimmest to less grim, but then I actually randomized it, like sorted it. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a borderline pleasant come through here. We'll see. I don't recall.
Purge this place and strike down any who dare to rise again.
Okay, so that's a pretty lengthy one. It's like Volkmar's opening statement. Something
grim as fuck. Yeah, that was pretty grim.
Okay.
Dare to rise again.
Purge this place and strike down any who
this is like no mercy. No mercy. That was pretty grim.
Yeah.
There was no room for any kind of tolerance there.
Yeah.
That was grim.
See, making this video, I thought Volkmar seemed like a pretty swell guy, but every now and then sort of the religious fanaticism comes through and it becomes a bit grim in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, you're right. Right, next one.
Powered by vengeance.
I feel like that's pretty grim. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty grim. His entire reason for being is to enact vengeance.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much grimmer than that.
Grim as fuck? Would you go so far as to say that?
Yeah, I'd say that, yeah.
Okay. It's so funny watching your tier lists where you're like, should it be B tier? I'm not sure, and we'll just leave it at that. And like the deliberation, it's fun to watch.
Sometimes something comes up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not really sure where it should.
Right.
You could argue it one way or another, and that's usually the case with things that it's not clear cut.
It's a great resource, you know.
Things that are like clear cut the best and most grim, or clear cut the worst or the least grim. Those are easy to distinguish.
Yeah. Sorry, you're breaking up a bit. Wait, I think I'm picking up on all the good stuff, but some elaborations here, the internet isn't working. Sorry, but
that's okay. It's welcome to Aussie internet. I'm used to it.
All right, next. We will cleanse them.
Borderline pleasant. He's talking about cleaning up.
And he is situated close to the ocean, so maybe he just wants to bathe people.
He's just gonna do some cleaning up.
Okay. I mean, this...
I will cleanse... What was it? I will cleanse them?
We will cleanse them. But, like, it's got so many kind of nasty overtones that it could be borderline pleasant if you take it with a naive, innocent view. Or it could be grim as fuck. It could be... Or anywhere in between. And, you know, this rating could really impact the end result, so we really need to do this judgment justice, don't you think?
Okay. Fair enough.
What do you think? you think
like he says, we will cleanse them. I just don't think that's a particularly grim statement. I think that's borderline pleasant. I think if someone came over to me and was, I'm going to cleanse your hair, I'd be fine with that. You know?
I mean...
I'm going to cleanse your house.
It'd be nice to have that much innocence.
I mean, that's obviously... He's obviously talking about purging.
Yeah.
But in Warhammer, everything is about purging. You know, who doesn't wake up in the morning in Total Warhammer?
Yeah. True.
But it's really about the statements. Can it be interpreted as borderline pleasant or grimmest? You know, he's not saying, I'm going to cleanse them and then make them not exist anymore and then purge their father. Go into detail. I think how elaborate are they going to cleanse?
Okay.
That really is what it comes down to, I think. How elaborate is this cleanse? Is it just going to be, it's just doing my duty, got to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Emperor, you know, pretty standard sort of day. Or is it, I'm doing this, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to burn it all to the ground. That's pretty good. Or, I live life for pain, sort of thing, like what he says, joy is wanting. That's pretty grim.
Yeah.
So, depends how you want to interpret it. These are both grim people. I'd say that was pretty pleasant. But, you know, if you want to put it in stone,
we will cleanse them.
Something in pleasant. I think that was the nicest thing he said so far.
We will cleanse them. Okay, so disregarding what we've done earlier, like, is that ever an issue where maybe like you've got way too many in like B tier and you're like, oh, I've got to like even it up?
I've done a tier list before where I had a particular thing that didn't have any in its particular spot. Okay. I think it was a Britannia tier list. There wasn't any in the B tier or something. I can't remember, or any in D tier.
Right.
Can't remember. But it's definitely happened, and honestly, that makes the tier list more interesting.
Yeah. All right. Should we bite the bullet? I'm resistant to giving it pleasant because I know what like a cleansing attitude can do on a large scale. So would you permit me, as Legend of Total War, to maybe raise it up to middle of the pack? Because I would actually personally, we'll just meet at a friendly middle. What do you say?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay. And then the final one. Their only worth is service.
I'd say it's borderline pleasant. This is not killing them, and for Warhammer, that's honestly not too bad. You're also got to keep in mind who's saying it. These are elves who live in a fairly decadent society, being a servant to an elf is probably a better life, and being free.
Yeah. I'm sure there'd be some leftover grapes at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Their only worth is service.
Yeah, they're a pretty clean bunch. I can't imagine service is that. It basically comes down to just doing what they're considered too good to do, like farming. Who knows?
Right.
Basically, if you're a servant to the elves, you farm duty. You mostly construction. I don't know, manual labor.
Yeah.
At least you get to live in a nice place, nice view.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem all that bad to me. In comparison to living in, say, Skaven Blight.
Yeah. Which is just a gnarly place to try and attack, right?
Like, all the Skaven Warrens are a gnarly place to attack. That's part of the point. It's just like, just think about what it would be like to just live as a clan rat. And just think, oh my god, like just walking around as shit everywhere.
And it actually, come to think of it, makes me respect the legendary lords of the Skaven more, because they would have started off as humble clan rats, but they were like, you know what, I'm going to make a life for myself. Is that how it works? Or is it just warpstone?
No, okay, so
how much warpstone you're exposed to?
Everyone has a different story, but if you take Queek, for example, he made his mark at the beginning of his life by eating the rest of his... And they're like, oh man, that rat's fucking mad. Make this a storm vermin. Through the... more. But that's, exceptional. Then I'm not too sure on Claw. Basically, he's able to use magic, and the more mad and insane stuff that he... That's kind of how the Skaven works. Just the more mad goes through the ranks.
Sorry, most of that was just broken up. It's almost like sometimes I feel like hotspotting on my phone might be better.
Yeah.
And I think
okay.
It might be partially my fault, where it's like the internet is particularly bad, but oh well. I will probably just like, we've got a good enough content here where I can edit out some really patchy spots.
It wasn't that important of a statement, I think. It's fine to cut it out.
Well, your fans are pretty devout, like...
Man, what are you going to do? Like, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Get angry at him for technical issues that are outside of his control?
Right.
What's the point in that?
Yeah. It's just, you never want to feel like you're leaving some things on the table as far as, like, production quality, I feel like.
Well, when it comes to the internet, what more can you do?
Yeah.
But I have the exact same problems.
Yeah.
And I pay the most I possibly can short of getting Starlink. And Starlink's just too expensive.
Yeah. Alright, so that final statement.
What was it again? Their only worth is service.
Alright, make the legend
he's not
call.
talking about a purge. That's not a purge. That's borderline pleasant. Compared to everything else, they're only... No, it's not pleasant. Well, hang on. If somebody is worthy of service, that means they can actually do stuff. You're not calling them totally useless.
Yeah.
That is, for Warhammer, that is borderline pleasant. I mean, sure, they're talking about indentured servitude. I don't know.
It's not exactly saying, look, I think you can be the master of your ship and captain of your soul. Like, you can take a leadership position. So it's a bit grim.
When does anybody in the Warhammer universe pay anybody else a compliment? They're usually just like, I hate everyone, but I hate you a little bit less. That's basically it.
It is interesting, like the voice acting, like, or the response that you get in diplomacy, it varies depending on their sentiment towards you, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's an interesting aspect of the game.
Yeah.
But I thought Volkmar was a swell guy.
Like, if you get friends with Vlad, he actually says, "Come, my friend, sit down by my side." So Vlad can actually be quite pleasant in his pussy lines, but he's not called Vlad the Grim.
Yeah. All right. So it seems like you're really itching to get something in borderline pleasant, but I'm sorry, I just can't.
I just
don't think I can.
That's fine.
What was it? Their only worth is service. Look, I've encountered employers who seem to think that like they have that opinion of me, and I didn't like it much. So just based on that, I'm gonna have it as
what
dour.
about if somebody thought that it could be a lot worse, that you're not even good for service. You know, you just need a purge. You know, that's Volkmar. There was no talk of, you know, let's chain them up and see if they can be put to use. It's like, no, we're just gonna eradicate their existence.
So if being fired, essentially.
Yeah. Not just fired, but like, you get fired and then they send an assassin home to kill you. That's Volkmar.
Yeah.
Not even assassin, they send an angry mob. How dare you not even be good? Eltharion will give you a chance.
Right. I've never actually played through either of their campaigns, so interested to see how grim on face value you think these guys are relative to the objective, quantitative conclusion.
In terms of grimness, they're both pretty grim, merciless towards their enemies. But when we think of them, like, Eltharion is going up against greenskins. Greenskins are a plague. There's no negotiating skins. They're just it is, you gotta pay. And they almost welcome an attempt of thing. And when it comes to Volkmar, his tolerance ends at if. Whereas I feel like with Eltharion, you could be one of the order races. You don't have to Surya. Just as long as you're not harboring greenskin.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah.
But then again, what's it called? Volkmar is dealing with the undead, and you could definitely argue that it's because at least the greenskins are disorganized, whereas the undead are heavily to some extent. They're very much more destructive if they are given.
Sorry, yeah, it's just the internet's breaking up enough to the point where it's like, I think if I interrupted my internet to hotspot off my phone, it would actually stop this video call. So we're at the end of a tier list anyway, but yeah, it would be good to get everything that you're saying. So I think I just want to leave it in the middle there. Is that okay?
Of course, it's your tier list. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, but you're the legend.
No, I don't like arguments of authority. So
Right.
that never.
Yeah. All right. So I consider Borderline Pleasant to be 1, the value of 1, Stern 2, Dour 3, Churlish 4, Grim as fuck 5. Do you reckon we can just do the math off the top of our heads? So that's 5, 10, 14, 18, 21, 24, 26. So Volkmar's a 26 grimness, and Eltharion is 5, 10, 15, 18, 21, 23, 25. So Eltharion is nudged Volkmar out by 1 point to be considered the true grimmest character in the Warhammer universe.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, losing by 1 point, I don't think is that big of a deal.
Right. Do you think this could become a series where we break down who... But, like, to cover the
Wanderer... I can't wait to do the Wanderer, yeah.
Yeah.
Who wanders more, Nakai or Wolf?
Well, we'd have to gather footage of, like, some insane wandering.
Arkan and Atan. Who's more black? That is just not gonna fly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's a touchy subject, but look, if we're ever struggling for content, maybe we consider it. What do you say?
Well, we can look into something like that for sure.
Okay.
I'd be very wary about doing Arkan and Satan, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. It's definitive here. Eltharion is slightly grimmer than Volkmar.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. And if you disagree with us, then you're wrong, because this is objective.
Yeah.
Not subjective.
Obviously. I mean, don't explore the, you know, how we actually process these gradings, because, you know, that, like, we're the authority, right? Don't look into the process, just only look at the result, and it's definitive.
Yeah.